Do you know what, Keith? There's something I wanted to talk about. You know this whole thing about with Ghana and Eddie Nketiah and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now that Ghana have qualified for the World Cup, them now deciding that they want to switch allegiance, because there was a while back where Ghana were courting them. They even brought them out to Ghana and tried to, like, you know, oh look, come and this is your homeland, this is your motherland. Come and join us, represent us, and nothing came of it. But now that they've qualified, they want to join. Do you think that they should make them wait till after the World Cup? Or do you think that beggars can't be choosers? We need all the best players we can bring.
So I think you take the best players available. I don't think there should be much issue because that call is coming from Ghana. If the call is coming from the players, then I think you can potentially make them wait. But I can see the reasoning of other Ghanaian players and the fans saying, well, you weren't there to help us through qualifying. Why should you reap the benefits of playing in the World Cup? So I don't know where the call has come from, but I think where the call has come from puts a different spin on things. What's your thoughts on it?
Make them wait. I'm not a fan of just saying, you know, thanks you lot for getting us here. We're going to go with these guys. I don't care who you are. If you, the whole point of qualifying is every player who's representing the country comes and puts their best foot forward in order to get there. And those that have put their neck out, those that have made the travel and the trips to teams like Comoros or whoever it may be, they're the ones that should benefit from their hard work. Now, if the squad that could be put out is better with these players in there, so be it.
A counter to that would be the squad that have got you there. They're good enough in this expanded World Cup, which means there's going to be a lot of smaller nations, meaning better nations can advance further. If the squad that's got you there can get you third place in the group stage, not necessarily qualify out of the group, but you've gone there, you've represented Ghana, it's been good. If you draft in these few extra players and that can get you to a last 16, give you that little bit more pizzazz to get you further in the competition, are you really saying, as a fan, you still stand with the original set of players?
Do you know what? It's mad, yeah, because I'm going to now contradict myself. In my heart, I'm sitting there saying that they shouldn't go. They should wait. But I'm also the same person that was cheering on Kevin Prince Boateng when he switched in time for the World Cup and done a madness. He was our best player. Yeah, I mean, when I sit there and think about that, then maybe take them.
So I've done a bit of research, and the first person to defect was a player called Colin Campbell, who played for Argentina, defected to Chile.
What was his name?
Colin Campbell.
Wait.
We know the Argentinians have got a few mad surnames over there. Look at McAllister. Defected from Argentina to Chile in 1910. And also, there's been a list of high-profile players who have appeared for one nation and then defected to another. So I can understand where it seems from a fan perspective, like, well, you haven't got into the better nation, in quotation marks, so you want to now come and play for a smaller nation. But there's examples, and I can run through a few. So Diego Costa played for Brazil in friendlies. He moved over to Spain, had a successful career.
Yeah, but that's not okay. So that's different, right?
Why?
Because he spent so long in Spain. He turned around and said, "You know what? I feel more Spanish than I do Brazilian. Like, I feel like this is home. So I'd rather represent Spain."
So players like Nketiah and Hudson-Odoi, they grow up in the English footballing system.
Mm-hmm.
So from the age of, say, under 16 to under 21, we know Nketiah is or was the under 21 top goal scorer. They're ingrained in that English system. And I'm sure they are fully aware of their Ghanaian heritage. I haven't heard any of those players kind of denounce that and say they're not in tune with it. But in their football upbringing, the English system is all that they've known. So I think naturally, playing for the English men's national team would be kind of the golden carrot. Like, I've come through the system, so why wouldn't I want to play for England? But if the opportunity arises where I know I'm not going to play for England, but I've still got the chance to make an international career for my parents' nation, I don't think that should be frowned upon. If those players are taken in to their parents' country system at an earlier age and they get the understanding of it, then I could be like, okay, maybe there's a choice to be made earlier. Because Mbappe's told the story of his dad taking him to Cameroon, and the Cameroon FA were like, yeah, you can play for us, but you got to give us some money.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that happens in every African nation, but it's
quite
prevalent.
regular.
It's prevalent out there.
Yeah.
So I can understand why the parents' nation might not be the first choice when they're coming up through the youth system. And I don't think it should be leveled at them if they say, well, I haven't made it as England, but that option is there. If the nation want me and I'm willing to play, I don't think it should be frowned upon.
Why does that only seem to be English players, though? Because you look at the likes of like Kalidou Koulibaly, Hakim Ziyech. Who else? Let me go down my list of players.
But I think they've got
those are the kind of players that were born. So like Ziyech was born in Holland, but chose to represent Morocco. Came through the Dutch system, but then at the vital point chose to go to Morocco. Koulibaly could have represented France. There was a point where he was one of the best defenders in the world, in world football. Ivory Coast. Could have represented France, though. There are players outside of England that come through the system in the countries that they're born in and then decide to go and represent their motherland, right? Not all the time, because then you look at players like Lukaku, who's born in Belgium, had the opportunity to represent a number of nations. Musiala. So, but it always seems to be English players or players that are coming through the English system that more often than not choose to hold out for England.
I still think it boils down to how ingrained you are in that nation's system. So like Koulibaly, he might have had close affiliations with that nation, even though he grew up in France. He might have strong ties. Like this is a bit random. So like growing up, my dad was always watching the West Indian cricket team.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a cricketer, I would have been more inclined to play for the West Indies than England, because my dad, not forced, but it was West Indian cricket always on in my house, always on in my house.
Yeah,
always on in my house. But do you see where I'm coming from?
No, I understand that point, but then I highly doubt Eddie Nketiah or Callum Hudson-Odoi or whoever held out, Mikel Antonio, they weren't raised on hard food and banku.
No, I don't.
Do you know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying we know the cultures in the house, but how connected are you to that footballing side of it? Do you see what I mean? Okay. You've got to kind of know.
So your point is not necessarily the culture as a whole, but the sporting side.
Okay. Of it. And I think that's where the fall off has been. And I think we're getting better now. So I'd say our generation, kind of us raising our kids, our kids are more aware of their mother nation's sporting achievements, etc.
Do you know what's mad about that? Our parents, first generations, right? Where most of us are second or third generation. Our kids and grandkids are going to be fourth, fifth. They're further removed from where our parents and grandparents came from. So to then say, well, so basically what you're saying is the further removed they are, but they're more aware of their options
in the
sense.
sporting world. So my son is 8, and he said if I make it, I can play for England, Grenada, or Nigeria.
But are you going to guide him towards, let's just say, Grenada or Nigeria, or are you going to say England first?
No,
and then whatever happens after.
I say to him, whatever you pick, it's up to you. I would never steer him. And I think if you're not in tune with it growing up, if you haven't got the pull, if you're only seeing England under 16, under 17s, under 18s, and the Nigerian FA, Ghanaian FA are not having the conversation with the right people, because they'll be aware of all these players. I think it's tough to sway away from England. And I think you'll see more now players choosing not to represent England if that's the case. I think you honestly will. I think this thing is just going to keep popping up every time there's a major tournament happening. Go back to Jamaica 98, a few players popped up and said, oh yeah, I can play for Jamaica.
Who was the striker that was at Wimbledon?
Marcus Gale. So that's an interesting one.
He had a clause in his contract saying that he could only represent
England. But the Jamaican FA wrote to FIFA and said, no, that's not allowed. And he got overturned. So good for him. And then even in World Cup 2006, the Birchall for Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
His mum was born in Trinidad and he said, call me up.
Even as recent as for Chile, Ben Brereton Diaz.
Yes, very true.
It wasn't essentially an allegiance switch. It was a call-up.
Yeah, and that's what I say. If you get the opportunity to play at that elite level sometimes, I think you've got to take the opportunity. So I don't think we should be too harsh on these guys. I think a bit of blame is lied in more than one place for things getting to this stage.
I think my irk comes from the timing.
Should it be a one and done? You've had your one cap for that country. You have to stick with them.
Well, that's what the rule was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And then they changed it to
friendly. If it was it has to be a competitive game for it to count.
Or if you haven't played in the last 3 years, you can switch.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. It's even happened in the women's game recently this week. So Taylor Hines, who just left Liverpool to go to Arsenal, she got called up for Jamaica. I wouldn't say she made a song and dance about it, but was very proud that she got called up for Jamaica. Just got England call up.
Hey.
And she was like, I'm still proud of my Jamaican roots.
She's speaking proper Queen's English.
But England came knocking, and you want to be around this English team.
And that's why I think it should just be one and done. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't like that.
No Declan Rice.
You or Jack Grealish. You put on you put on a show, so to speak, that you're proud, and this is you're representing where your family is from, and then England come calling you, just that goes out the window. It's very shallow to me.
So it goes both ways. Like, you can level up, level down, not disrespectfully, but it happens both ways. And as I said, I think this will be something that rumbles on for a long, long time.
Bring back the one cap and done.
One cap and done.